Greetings, I am LeeTSimba, and today I want to talk to you about something a little bit different. I want to talk to you about love and toxic relationships. This is different than what I usually cover on the channel because, I'm usually talking about anime or games, but there's been something I've been thinking about since my childhood, and I think today's the day I finally speak on it. But before we get into the video, I want to ask you to hit the subscribe button or the like button before we get into the video. We're getting very close to our goal of 4,000 subscribers before the end of March. And with the pleasantries out of the way, we can get into the video. If you're about my age, you probably remember watching these Dan Schneider shows on Nickelodeon or like YTV. Amanda Show, Zoe 101, Drake and Josh, Victorious, and iCarly. He made no other shows. Those were the only ones. Those were the only shows he ever made. And I have no idea what you're talking about. And I love all these shows. I think Drake and Josh is my favorite, but number 2 on the list is actually Victorious. A lot of people my age love iCarly. I think iCarly's good, but Victorious just had something a little bit special for me. Victorious followed the adventures of Tori, who lived in California, went to this school called Hollywood Arts. It's for people who want to become actors, directors, just any famous kind of talented people. It also featured her sister and her friends all trying to navigate high school life and trying to grab every opportunity to become a famous celebrity. But even though I love Victorious, there's something that never sat right with me about how it ended. It's the relationship between Beck and Jade, and by extension, Tori. Because throughout the entirety of the series, I thought the relationship was toxic, but the way it resolved just didn't quite make sense. And to get through the love triangle of Beck, Tori, and Jade and why it didn't make sense, we actually gotta start from the beginning. The pilot episode. And the first episode's about her first day there. On her first day at Hollywood Arts, she actually gets to class and spills her coffee on Beck. She then apologizes to Beck, and Beck's like, oh, don't worry, it's okay, and she's trying to clean it, and they have like a very brief moment. She looks at him, he looks at her, and it's like, she's like, hey. But their moment is interrupted because in walks Jade, who says, why are you rubbing my boyfriend? Establishing that she and Beck are dating, and that Jade does not like Tori. This actually establishes a lot of things that are going to be relevant for pretty much the entirety of the series. There's a little bit of chemistry between Beck and Tori. Very small, but I still think it establishes they have an extent of chemistry. Jade doesn't like Tori, and I think it's because of her chemistry with Beck. She's also like the jealous type, so that really does help. And Tori and Beck cannot get together because of Jade. Moving on to what's happening in this class, it's an acting class. And they're playing an improv game where everyone says one line, but it starts with a letter and goes in alphabetical order. For example, amazing that I have made such good videos because I am the greatest person who's ever lived. Cats can die. Yeah, you can see why I didn't turn out to be an actor. So using this game as an excuse, Jade pours coffee all over Tori's head because she didn't like how friendly she was being with her boyfriend. But the reason I bring this up is because later in the episode, I believe in the next day, they played the same acting game again. And Jade and Tori are kind of competing in the game, and Tori beats Jade and Jade is out. However, last time Jade used the game as an excuse to spill coffee on Tori, but now Tori's using the game as an excuse to kiss Beck. And Beck, I think, possibly wanting to get back at his girlfriend for having such a bad attitude and doing what she did to Tori, kisses Tori back. I will criticize the narrative a bit at this point because I feel like you could have made this scene work by just making it so that Tori kissed Beck, but not Beck and Tori kissed each other. So this way you can keep Beck's integrity as a character while still showing that Tori's getting back at Jade. And you don't think of Tori to be that bad a character because, she didn't make any commitment to not cheat in this relationship, but it is what it is. Beck is portrayed as a very chill character, a very nice guy, and I feel like him kissing somebody who isn't his girlfriend doesn't really make sense for his character. So I try to rationalize this in my head, and they go to this school for actors and musicians, and everyone takes their craft seriously. We've even seen Beck and Tori lead in romantic roles in plays before. So I feel like, it's acting. It wasn't really cheating. It's just for the sake of the game. But then I could say it's a game, and I feel like you probably shouldn't have kissed the girl who wasn't your girlfriend. That was the setup to the basis of all the points I'm really gonna make. And it was just the first episode. Now let's move on to the episode, Jade Dumps Beck. Beck starts hanging out with this famous socialite named Alyssa Violet, and she's popular and she's pretty, and Jade is the jealous type, and she cannot stand it. So Jade tells Beck that Beck can't hang out with her anymore, and Beck's like, no, that's stupid, she's my friend, we're just friends. And then Jade is like, screw this, I'm breaking up with you. And I felt like this was a very bold move by Jade, because she regrets it immediately. She shows up at Tori's house later crying, talking about how I want Beck back. But she says she tried to get back together with him and he just didn't want to get back together with her. So Tori, because Jade is just crying and begging her to do this, tries to help get them back together. But we find out a few things about the relationship. He pretty much mentions how Jade doesn't do anything nice for them in their relationship. And Jade's not a nice person in general, so you think, oh, with your boyfriend, I thought you'd do more. But throughout the series, we don't really see that happen too much. Jade tries to get Beck a Rottweiler because he's always said he wanted that breed of dog, but that dog ends up attacking his dad and hospitalizing him. But Beck saw that Jade made the effort to try and fix the relationship, and they get back together. It's established that Tori tries to solve their problems. Because throughout the series, they're constantly fighting. Because, well, Jade fights with everybody, but she still fights with Beck. And Tori gets in the middle trying to like calm things down, play mediator, so the relationship works out. But as you can guess, this isn't sustainable long term. Much later, we have an episode called The Worst Couple, like seasons into the show's existence. In this episode, Shinjin is running a dating show, but he doesn't have actual real couples to be in the show. He's trying to pitch to this network, so the main cast just fills up the couples. Beck and Jade are the only actual real couple on this show, and throughout the entire episode, we see that they're just fighting and arguing constantly. And they reach a breaking point when they're on Shinjin's show, and Beck says he's not happy with the relationship. And frankly, I want to put all of this on Jade because Jade is just an unreasonable human being, but it doesn't matter whose fault it is, just goes to show you they're both in this relationship that's just not working. And that leads us to later in the episode, we see the gangs at Tori's house, they're all playing poker without Beck and Jade. They just talk about how Tori's done trying to mediate their fights because it's tiring, and they don't want to invite both of them there because they're just going to argue all the time. So Beck and Jade show up because Beck wanted to show Jade, see, they're doing this because we have a bad relationship, we're constantly arguing, and they don't want to be around us. And Jade's completely dismissive of all of this. Jade, who's not willing to talk about their issues or acknowledge there is a problem, pretty much says that if you don't leave with me right now, I'm going to break up with you. So she drives off, he stays, and they break up. And it seems like in the friend group, their relationship did not change that much. We get to see after this time that, Jade was interested in some other guys, and then you hear Beck now and then talk about dating another girl. But it leaves up the relationship of him and Tori to happen. But like, why would it happen when they've been friends for so long? Glad you have asked. There's an episode called Tori Goes Platinum. It's a two-parter. And in this episode, Tori wins a contest where she's going to become a celebrity overnight, basically, by this like huge music producer. But the producers insisting that Tori can't act the way she is, so she has to like dress in all these new clothes, start treating everybody like shit, like freaking out and all this stuff. And she hates doing it, and everyone thinks, damn, Tori, all the fame has made you change. But Beck is like the only person who realizes and talks to her, realizing them, you wouldn't act this way if you wanted to. You're a nice person. So we can kind of see that, like, not just as friends, but like they have a little bit of an understanding of each other. And they have a moment at the end of this conversation where they almost kiss, so Tori's mom walks in and breaks it up. And later in the episode, Tori tells the producer that she's not gonna do this, but Jade is actually very willing to do all this stuff, and she was pretty much runner-up in a contest. So like, Jade takes Tori's spot, and Tori's sad. On the actual night of what would have been Tori's debut is now Jade's debut. Her friends come by her house to make her feel better, but Kat video calls them and reveals she's with Jade backstage, and Jade says they're all welcome to come. Tori says it's okay for them to go, so all her friends immediately leave. Everybody except Beck. And so like Beck and Tori are like talking, they're kind of having this moment, and that FaceTime call they had with Jade, it never ended. So Jade is backstage watching this whole thing happen. And then Beck tries to kiss Tori, and Tori kind of shuts him down. And pretty much just said that like, because of Jade, we can't do this because I know you guys aren't dating anymore, but dating my friend's ex, it's just a no-no for girls. And Jade sees this and she feels kind of bad. So right in the episode, Jade swaps with Tori and lets Tori perform the musical number that she was originally gonna do. And in this episode, like, we see Jade, and just to clarify, Jade doesn't like Tori. Like throughout this series, Jade just treats Tori badly or completely neutral. If this was just a video about like Jade and Tori's bad relationship, it would just be, and then Tori did nothing and Jade hated her for 4 seasons. Jade giving up this huge opportunity in the spotlight to Tori shows that like she's warming up to Tori a little bit just because of her loyalty as a friend and not dating Beck. A few episodes later, we see Tori and Beck go on what they call an opposite date. They had a group event planned to do with their friends, but then all their friends miss out the last minute, and then it's just Beck and Tori. And Tori's a little bit about going on the date because they had those moments when they almost kissed before. And Beck's all like, oh, don't worry, that we won't just go on a date, we'll just go on an opposite date. An opposite date? Yeah, bro, it's like absolutely not a date, just to prove we're such friends that nothing romantic could ever happen. These guys are huffing copium so hard. Kat cannot keep her mouth shut, so she tells Jade about this, and now Jade is trying to stalk Tori and Beck on their opposite date. And the opposite date consists of eating bad food, wearing bad clothes. So to end their opposite date, which is totally not a date because they totally don't have feelings for each other, they decide to do a favor for Beck's aunt and like take her dog to the vet, where a very innocent conversation takes place. They start talking to like the people there, where everyone's talking about how they start asking all these personal questions, talking about like, well, you guys should date, and they're trying to say, nah, but Jade's involved. And honestly, I can't get into the whole thing, but the conversation is just kind of interesting because it's kind of like confronting a lot of questions about Beck and Jade's relationship and Beck and Tori's relationship. Jade and Kat walk in and see Beck and Tori. And the thing is, oddly enough, Jade has this moment when she says she doesn't care. She's letting go. She's like, yeah, we're all friends. You guys can hand whoever you want, and you shouldn't have to worry about me to do it. In this moment, Jade is letting go. She's like, Beck, hang out with who you want, date who you want. I don't care. It's fine. And this leaves up the path for Beck and Tori to get together. Except that doesn't fucking happen. That entire episode might as well just not exist because they just ignore it in its entirety. Literally the next episode is about Beck's friend who visits from Canada. Jade likes him, Cat likes him, and Tori likes him. I'm just like, Tori, you just had this thing with Beck going. What's this about? All that chemistry building up, it just doesn't go anywhere. But like, that's not even the worst defense. Another few episodes later, there's this girl named Meredith who's trying to date Beck. And Beck keeps trying to like blow her off, and Tori's like, no, you should completely go for her. Acting like they weren't supposed to get together. I don't get it. And Beck keeps saying that he's afraid that Jade is gonna freak out if her and Meredith go out. Like they didn't have that whole scene in the vet's office. But after some shenanigans, Beck goes on a date with this Meredith person, and Meredith has no personality. All she knows how to do is agree with everything Beck says just because she wants him to like her. Beck shares this thought with Tori, and Tori's like, what's wrong with Meredith? And Beck's like, oh, I don't want a relationship that's easy. I want a relationship with like a little spice to it. And then coincidentally, because they're at some festival, Jade's actually performing a song, and Jade performs the song and it's awesome. Beck just walks up on stage when the song's done saying, I missed you. And she's like, what are you gonna do about it? And then they kiss and get back together. And I'm like, why? It doesn't make any sense. Why, God? Why? Beck and Jade get back together, and we see them back together throughout the rest of the series, and it wasn't renewed after season 4, so this is just kind of like where the story concludes, and I have issued this for so many reasons. Not only they showed that like Beck and Jade's relationship just didn't work, they were constantly fighting, they broke up. They also showed this level of like Jade being over Beck trying to date other people. And also, in that one episode, Jade ended up making out with Beck's friend. Not as an attempt to get back at him, just because she wanted to, and it was just fine. But also, they set up this like Tori-Beck relationship from like episode 1. There was the chemistry there, because like they never said that they didn't date because I'm not feeling you, or I think we should stay friends. It's just because of Jade, and that was the only reason. And just like, I don't get why you build this up. We're just gonna tear it down. It didn't make any sense. The Victorious community is trash when it comes to this. Because I keep seeing you guys talk about how, you know, in reality, people thought that Jade was the toxic one because she was always angry, but Beck was always letting other girls flirt with him and all this stuff. And like, did we watch the same show? Beck is a friendly guy. He's just nice to people. He doesn't go out of his way to hit on girls. Girls obviously hit on him a lot, but things like he's a nice dude. They'll talk to them respectfully. We'll even see him at times in the series kind of like turn away girls because, you know, he's dating Jade. Jade was so toxic. She wouldn't talk about all his relationships and issues. And I asked the question, Beck, why would you date her? And then I realized Jade is really fucking hot. She had that like goth girl blow up. I'm like, God damn, you know, I get it, Beck. I get why you dated for so long. But at the end of the day, I still think that Beck and Tori getting together would be the way to go. Rant's done. I have no more to say. I'm LeeTSimba. If you like the video, make sure to comment, like, subscribe, all that jazz. And I'll catch you guys next time. Peace. I'm in focus. I'm here to talk to you about things that matter to me. You know what matters to me? Goth women, alternative girls, punk rock girls, mentally ill bisexual women.